Hey guys, so I'm just going to do a quick video on selecting the apple crop. So we're going to be thinning out some of the apples today because the tree is pretty new. There's not a whole lot of leaves on it. I'm going to limit it to about one apple per branch. There were a lot that got pollinated this year on this tree, and we had a lot of them stick around, and what you want to do is thin them out before they reach about the size of a quarter. And you don't want to do it when they're too small, like that one right there. That's about the smallest size I would go because the stems aren't long enough to cut at that point. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. This is going to be pretty quick. So as you can see, I've thinned these down, at least in their bunches. Sometimes apples do fail, so I'm just going to leave two actually on this one branch, but they're far enough apart where I'll still be able to thin one out if the other one fails, in which case I would keep this one here because it's a lot bigger than the other one. Okay, and again, I've already done this branch as well. There is one apple on this whole branch here. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of leaves on this tree. If you look up, there's actually really none on the top half. Sorry, it's kind of bright. And there's some all the way at the very tip of that, and I think that I'm gonna actually take all of those out because there's already one down here on this branch, and it's really blurry and you can't see it. Focus, come on, there it is. Okay, so yeah, that was a really big apple off of this bunch. As you can see with this bunch, there's the cut ones. There were some small apples on that, and I just went with the largest. It's called the king apple, I believe a lot of people call it. It's the biggest apple of the entire bunch. As you can see on this branch, there's a lot of apples and not a whole lot of leaves. So I'm going to be taking probably most of those and maybe just leaving that one. You can also see that there are a couple of ones here. This small one actually in front is totally infested with aphids. I'm gonna need to, I'm gonna take that one off and the small one. This wasn't as good of a cluster as the others. The other clusters had about 4 or 5 in them. And let me just show you how I'm gonna do this. This small one here can actually just get pulled off because he's falling off on his own. And then I'm just gonna take the pruners here and snip right behind the apple, and the stem is gonna fall off on its own eventually. And this is hopefully just gonna keep get the tree to put some more energy back in its roots, and hopefully next year it'll come back even stronger. A lot of people probably wouldn't even let it produce apples this year, but I'm gonna see what I can do with this tree. Hey guys, so let me see if I can just show you. This is a pretty nice cluster actually. There's 5 in here, and as you can see, these ones are a lot smaller, so those aren't hard to pick from. But there's these 2 right here. I don't know if you can tell on screen, but I would say that this one is a little bigger than this one, so I'm only going to leave this one on here. As for these other clusters, I'm probably going to get rid of this one because there's a bunch of really tiny ones on it, and I might keep one of these, so there'll actually be 2 apples on this one branch. As for those other bare branches back there, I'm probably just going to take the apples off of those entirely because there's no leaves to support them there. Also, I'd like to mention that I have sanitized these pruners. I just used hydrogen peroxide. We didn't have any rubbing alcohol available, so I had to use hydrogen peroxide, and then I rinsed the hydrogen peroxide off too. So anyways, that's how I'm thinning out my apples this year. Hope you enjoyed the video.